Kiel, could you pronounce your last name? I think a lot of people are struggling with that one.
Yeah, it's Kiel, and the last name is Reijnen.
Reijnen.
Yeah, the I-J makes a Y.
Good Spanish name, right?
Dutch.
No, I'm kidding.
Well, you're kidding.
You're 25 and you live in Boulder, right?
Just turned 24.
Just turned 24 in Boulder. Take us through the day, and Danny Van Hot was kidding around, but he said, hey, 2 podiums here. If there was an Omnium, you guys would have took second place as a team. So, first of all, congratulations. It seems like the team did well this weekend. But give us your impressions of the day, the heat.
Yeah, we came here expecting the weather to play a role. You know, it's hot and humid. A lot of guys aren't used to that, myself included. But I was surprised. There's only 80 guys in the field. I figured that would play a bit of a role, but there was also some big teams here with plenty of guys to do the work, and sometimes the smaller teams we bank on those bigger teams taking control of the race, and that didn't happen today, and it kind of bit us in the butt, and that was the risk we took. But initially that gap just soared, and the field wasn't moving, and at that point we took some initiative and put a couple of our guys on the front to help motivate the field. But Radio Shack and BMC and Garmin just really didn't seem interested in pursuing the breakaway. By the time they did, it was a little late, and Ben King, again, rode an amazing race, and I don't know, we would have caught him even if we had all been chasing, but I was a little disappointed, I guess, with the aggression in the race, and it's the last time up Paris Mountain when we turned on that steep pitch. George took a dig, and I saw Levi follow, and at that point, I jumped on Levi's wheel, and we were going, but really just not enough to break the race apart. And at that point, whether I had good legs or not, I wanted to race an aggressive race, and so I took a big dig and went over the mountain to try and get a gap. And look back, George and Levi caught on, and the gap to the field was just enough to kind of give us some wiggle room. So we started to roll, but Levi wasn't helping pull because of Ben King up the road. And so with just George and I pulling, even with a little bit of confusion in the field, it wasn't enough. And I think just before the start-finish line there, on the final big laps, we came back into the group. And for how fast we went up the climb, I was surprised at how small the group was. I think the heat really played a big role in the attrition of the race. Because I expected a group of 40 guys to come up on us, and it wasn't. It was like 25. And at that point, I knew I kind of did my effort for the day. I gave everything to try and stay with George and bridge over to Ben. And so when I came back, I just tried to follow moves as best I could with the energy I had. And I knew that if it came to the line as a sprint, I'd have a sprint. So I waited for that and followed wheels. And Horner actually took it with about 300 meters to go, just that little rise before the final left-hand turn. He went hard, and I jumped on his wheel, and that little downhill was just enough for me to take a breath and try and pull around. So yeah, I'm definitely happy with the result, and glad that I had a kick in the end. Even though I kind of put my effort into the climb and going after that, and at the end of the day, it didn't work out, but I had to try it.
Tell me about Ben King. What chance would you have given him going into today? I mean, what odds would you put on him?
Yeah, I mean, he's a great rider when it comes to a move like that. I know he's steady and strong and can do it all day long. He did it at Junior National Championships. He did it at U23 National Championships. And he's a great guy. So I'm really happy for him. And at the beginning of the day, I probably wouldn't have given him much chance. I mean, the break was only 3 guys, really, for the majority of it. So I was pretty surprised that it stayed away. However, the tactics in the race really dictated that.
Are you in school, I understand?
Yeah, I'm just currently taking a couple of classes online, but up until this year, really, I was full-time. So I have 4 classes left, trying to get them done.
CU?
Yeah.
What is your degree in?
Mechanical engineering.
That's not easy.
No. No, it was maybe not my best life choice, but
What do you think of the course, I guess?
Oh, I love this course. I mean, I think Paris Mountain is a perfect climb for nationals. It's not, you know, if you look at that group at the end of the day, it wasn't pure climbers. You know, there's guys in there that are good sprinters, Alex Candelario and a handful of others. So I think nationals should be a race that has a lot of attrition. I think it should be a race that has some climbing. I think it should be a race that can be really tactical. So this course has all those things, and the heat, humidity definitely play a role.
How does this town, I mean, from what you've seen, you know, how did the event go?
Oh, it's awesome. It's coming through that start finish line with all the fans there, and it's just a huge roar, and it's definitely, you can't hear anything else. And that's really motivating as a rider. It's really cool that the town rallies behind it, and no, I couldn't be happier with where we do nationals.
Brent Bookwalter did a lot of the work on that chase group when it came back together. You made the dig with Hincapie and Leipheimer. Carter went up in front as well at one point. In hindsight, is there some thought of perhaps putting more into the group chase as opposed to striking out alone in those last couple of laps?
Yeah. You know, I came up to Carter and I asked him how he was feeling, and at that point, you know, I knew it was going to be cat and mouse. Those last laps would be really tactical. So I just said, you know, when you can, follow. And next thing I knew, I looked up and he was up the road a little bit. So, you know, maybe we could have played our cards a little bit differently and helped with the chase. But honestly, I think by the time we got on to the small laps, it was kind of over. You know, even if Carter and I both helped pull and a couple of others, it would have been really close. And when you have a team like Radio Shack with 4 or 5 guys in that group of 20 that aren't going to work, it really isn't motivating for the rest of the guys.
Do you think radios would have made any difference?
You know, I'm a big fan actually of the no radios. I do see the argument from a safety standpoint, and there's a few moments here and there in the races we've done this year where I wish, you know, we had a radio so I could communicate, you know, if a guy crashes or there's a bad mechanical or bad spot on the road. But overall, I think that it adds a little bit to the race, a little dynamic that wouldn't be there otherwise. But I don't think that it necessarily has a huge role in the outcome of the race. I do think that for the most part, as long as the motos are really efficient in getting the time gaps, it's pretty cut and dry. You know, you do this over and over and over again, and you get pretty good at guessing and knowing what to do.
Today they just put out a chalkboard that said big,
Yeah.
bigger.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe how slow we were going in the first 2 laps. It was pretty just a lethargic feeling in the group.
Were people in the pack talking about that? Was there yelling going on, work, or?
Not a lot of yelling. I mean, I think that the teams kind of assumed that it was only 3 guys, and the fact that Ben King, you know, had the Live Strong colors on, maybe you guys were thinking that Radio Shack would help in that chase. I mean, I knew there would be a risk relying on the big teams to take us to the line. And again, we didn't, you know, 100% do that. We did put some guys in there to pull, but yeah, just when one big strong team isn't motivated to chase, it really demotivates the field. You know, the other teams just, even if they do help, it's not 100%.
Any final questions? Kiel, any comments on the youth movement in the U.S. right now? A lot of strong riders coming up. You're only 24. Obviously, Taylor, you got 2 national champions now, 20 and 21.
Yeah, I mean, what Trek Live Strong did this weekend was pretty unreal. I would not have guessed that. And I think it's really cool to see the young guys doing well. I hope that USA Cycling and everyone involved in kind of development programs sees that opportunity. You know, it's hard with a sport that's not mainstream to really get kids, you know, collect that talent and support those kids, but I think it makes a difference.
Thanks for your time. Congratulations on the podium.
Thank you.